What up, word? It's your boy Sporty Black checking in again, man. Today, we gonna talk about the top 10 bowl games, high stake bowl games, right? Of all time. Man, there's been so many bowl games throughout the history of college football. We're gonna talk about my top 10. Now, this is just mine, you know what I'm saying? Yours may be totally different from mine. But I got some good ones, you know what I'm saying? I rank them from 10 to 1. And I just want to see, how y'all feel about my list and what y'all think about my list, man. But no further ado, starting out at number 10, I got Miami versus Nebraska, the 1984 Orange Bowl. The significance of this game is it was kind of a home game for Miami, being that the game was played in the Orange Bowl, which is played in, South Florida or whatnot. And they beat Nebraska. Miami won, and that gave them their very first national championship. And that was like the beginning of that 80s dynasty that Miami, kind of put together. So Miami versus Nebraska, 1984 Orange Bowl is number 10. Coming in at number 9 is going to be Michigan versus Alabama in the 2000 Orange Bowl. That was Tom Brady. He was at Michigan. And Michigan actually beat Alabama 35-34 in overtime. And then that game right there, Tom Brady did his thing. And I knew then he was special because I watched that game. I didn't see this 84 game. I don't remember that game, but I do remember the Michigan and Alabama game in year 2000. So that's number 9. Coming in at number 8, we got Boise State versus Oklahoma in the 07 Fiesta Bowl. Boise State won 43-42. I watched that game as well. That was a really, really exciting game, and some people are gonna say that game should have been, more up the list, maybe crack the top 5, because that game, it had it all. It was really exciting. That was the game, Boise State hit them folk with the Statue of Liberty play. And that was one of the games that really, really put Boise State on the map nationally, right? So that's number 8. Coming in at number 7, we got the 2017 College Football Playoff National Championship game between Clemson and Alabama. Clemson won 35-31. They won that game by scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter to Alabama's only 7. And if you can remember, that it was a 4th down play. Deshaun Watson was the quarterback, and he hit Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow ran one of the best routes you ever want to see. Some people say it was a pick play on that play, but he was open nevertheless. Boom, Deshaun Watson hit him. Clemson won. So that's number 7. Number 6 is going to be the 02 BCS championship game between Ohio State and Miami. Ohio State won 31-24. But if you can recall, that game had a lot of controversy called. The most controversial call of them all was the phantom pass interference call. I think Chris Gamble was the receiver. He ran a route. He was being covered by one of the DBs from Miami. Looked like good coverage to me. Pass was incomplete. I think it was 4th down. Then out of nowhere, it was late, real late flag. They threw it out there. Saved Ohio State, and then they went on ahead and win that game. That's number 6. All right. So the top 5. Coming in at number 5 is 2018 National Championship game between Alabama and my beloved Georgia Bulldogs. This is a game that Georgia was winning the game the whole entire game. And then it was a lot of messed up calls in that game. The most noticeable call was when Tyler Simmons blocked a punt. He played for Georgia. He blocked the punt for Alabama. And if that play would have stand, I think that would have opened the floodgates and, basically put the game out of reach because Georgia was already winning by a couple scores that would have put it up for like 3 scores. But they said he was offside. But now under further review, he wasn't offside. But anyway, Georgia had every chance to win. They didn't capitalize on some of the mistakes. It was like a 2nd and 26 play after Georgia had sacked Tua in overtime, and it looked like Georgia had all the momentum. And then that left-handed bandit Tua, he threw a bomb out there, blown coverage on who his name was DB? Malcolm Parrish. He just got beat real bad. Devontae Smith got behind them all. Boom. Caught the touchdown in overtime. Game was over. Alabama won the Natty. Just broke our polar hard. All right, that's number 5. Number 4 is the 05 Rose Bowl between Texas and Michigan. It was like Vince Young coming out party. Texas won 38-37. And when I seen that game, it was a very, very exciting game. When I seen that game right there, I knew Vince was a problem. Vince Young was gonna be a problem. So of course that following year, he did the damn thing. All right, but that's number 4. Number 3, this is a recent game. It was back in 2022. Georgia versus Ohio State. This was the Peach Bowl, the playoff game. Georgia was coming in. They was defending champions. They was 13-0, and they were trying to repeat. But Ohio State went up by 2 touchdowns in the first half. Georgia came back, took the lead. Then the second half came. Ohio State went up again by 2 touchdowns. Georgia came back. It was just, a game, a back and forth game, and it really looked like Ohio State had control of this game. And then Stetson Bennett, the mailman, he delivered. Ohio State was up by 6. Stetson Bennett got the ball with like 2 minutes left. Shit, he went straight down the field on a 5-play drive. Then he caught a Dundee Mitchell in the corner of the end zone, took the lead, went up by 1 point. With about 55 seconds left, they kicked the ball back to Ohio State. C.J. Stroud, it was one of the best games I ever seen him compete in. He left it all out there on the field. He got his team all the way down the field in field goal range. And then they did a couple, head-scratching plays, Ohio State did, and forced themselves to try a 50-yard field goal with 8 seconds left at the strike of midnight. Basically, when he was kicking the ball, midnight was coming in. They call it the Midnight Miracle. He kicks the ball, and he kicked the damn duck wide left. Georgia Bulldogs won. And that game was actually the national championship, because the next game, the national championship, Georgia versus TCU, Georgia beat them folks into a coma. You hear me? 65-7. So that was actually the national championship game. And it was a really, really good game. It's very dramatic. And as a dog fan, I'm glad we got the W. Right? The number 2 game, the second best game of all time, in my opinion, was the 2018 Rose Bowl game between Georgia and Oklahoma. This is the highest scoring Rose Bowl game ever. It went to double overtime. Georgia won 54-48. Oklahoma won up by 17 in the first half. Georgia came back, and then in the second half, Georgia just really dominated. Like, the defense locked in, the offense, kept scoring, but it did, it had some dramatic plays here and there. Tony Michelle, he was the MVP, but he did fumble. Oklahoma picked it up, did the scoop and score, went up. Georgia had to come back, tie the game up. Game went to overtime. Then it went to a double overtime. So in the second overtime, that when it got real juicy. So the second overtime, Oklahoma got the ball first. They had a chance to score. Georgia held them to a field goal attempt. They kicked the field goal attempt. Lorenzo Carter blocked the field goal. Then everybody on both sides knew it was over with. So Georgia came back out there, got the ball. Oklahoma had not been able to stop Nick Chubb nor Sony Michel all game. So they did a direct snap to Sony Michel on second and 12 or something from the 27-yard line. He went to the left with the direct snap, wild dog as we called it. Ran on into the end zone, sent Georgia to the national championship game. And that's when they played Alabama, the one I just spoke about. They actually lost that game. But this game, this Rose Bowl game, oh, man, it was one for the ages. Some said the best Rose Bowl game ever. Some say it's not, because the best Rose Bowl game ever is actually our #1 game of all time. That is the 06 Rose Bowl between Texas and USC for the national championship, man. #1 versus #2. USC, they already had one like back to back. They were trying to three-peat, man. They was a dynasty, man. Pete Carroll had them boys balling. Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lindell White, man, they were loaded. Texas had a great deal of talent as well with Vince Young, Jamal Charles, Lyman Sweet, and they had a really, really good defense. Michael Griffin, Aaron Ross, Michael Huff. They had some guys on both sides of the ball. So it was a really, really good football game, man. That thing went back and forth, back and forth. USC pretty much took control over the game in the second half, and they went up by 2 scores with like maybe 6 minutes left. So a lot of people felt like it was over. Everybody except Vince Young, and that's all it took. He didn't think it was over, so he went down there and scored, and took it down. So I think they was down by 12. He scored. So then they was down by probably like 5 points. USC got the ball back. They had a chance to put it out, put the game away. They couldn't do it. They gave the ball back to Vince Young. Shit, he put that Superman cape on. Hey, man, I was watching that game. I called him Captain America. Man, that boy Vince Young, man, he went down that field. He scored, ran it in. They took the lead, gave the ball back to USC. They didn't have really much time, but many times I have to do too much with it. They tried, they got close, but no cigar, man. Texas won the national championship. They were their last championship they won, as to date. But shout out to Vince Young, man. It was one of the best games I ever seen. So that, for me, is my #1 game, man. So there you have it. That's my top 10 bowl games, high stake bowl games of all time. And when I say high stakes, that means it was a lot on the line. It was a lot riding on these games, man. And they was very dramatic and very entertaining, man. So what I need y'all to do, y'all jump in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about my list. And who do y'all think I left off? Or who do you think shouldn't be on the list? Or who you think need to be moved up the list or bumped down the list? And, and also just let me know who y'all think should be on the list, man. If you're new to this channel, hit that sub button, man. I'm signing off.